Hey guys, how's it going? If your shredding sounds like this, then I'm here to help you. And in today's video, I've got an instant fix for you that will help clean up your shredding immensely. Now, obviously, when it comes to shredding, there's a lot of things that we're doing that kind of go together. You might be struggling with hand synchronization or picking technique. And if those are the things you're struggling with, I do have videos on those subjects above that you can click on as well. But let's say we are happy with our picking technique and our hand synchronization already, but we still might be having trouble shredding, particularly across all 6 strings, right? It might sound very muddy and all the notes bleed into each other. So if you find yourself sticking to playing licks on one string and you don't like playing across all the strings, then this should help you out a lot. So what we're going to be looking at today is muting the strings. And when I say muting, I don't mean palm muting like this. Right, that's not the kind of muting we're talking about today. We're talking about muting the strings that we are not playing. So when we want to play rock or metal or we want to shred, we usually crank up the gain, we crank up the distortion, and we slap a load of reverb on it. But then what happens is that if we're not mindful of the strings we're not playing, we get this horrible noise and it just never sounds clean. So if that is something you're struggling with, the culprit could be your picking hand, it could be your fretting hand, or it could be both. But for most of us, it's actually a problem in the picking hand. Right, so to fix this problem, the first thing you need to do is look at your grip, the way you're holding the pick. Now, there are many different pick grips that work, and that's fine. But if you want to tighten up your shredding and prevent the notes from bleeding into each other, you need to have a look at your thumb. If your shredding is sloppy and noisy, there is a 90% chance that this is your problem. And the fix is so simple. If you have a pick grip where the pick sticks out a lot like that, and you play, and maybe you can play fast and it sounds good, but as soon as you start shredding across the fretboard, it sounds horrible. It's because you need to choke up more on the pick. And you may have heard this before. A lot of guys will tell you when you hold the pick, you only want a little bit of it sticking out. But when people say that you need to choke up on the pick like this, they say that because it gives you better picking control, but no one mentions what it has to do with the thumb. So to fix your sloppy shredding and sloppy picking, you need to make sure that this part of your thumb is always sticking out, always touching the string above the string where you're playing. And you might think, well, oh, this is unnecessary. But if I play you a C major scale and my thumb is not touching any of the other strings, this is what it's going to sound like. Right, you can hear notes that I'm not even trying to play. But as soon as I make sure my thumb follows along with my pick, and it's muting the strings I'm not playing, it instantly cleans up my picking. So unlike palm muting where we're purposely trying to mute the strings, you can also let your palm follow along whatever you're playing. Right, if I'm playing something on the G string, my palm is covering the E, the A, and the D. When I'm picking down the scale, my palm just naturally wants to follow along. So if you're mindful of your thumb and of your hand and you're picking down a scale, the strings on top of whatever you're playing will always be muted. But what if we're playing something and the strings below what we're playing are ringing out? So let's say I'm descending a scale. I get to the D string, but the strings underneath are ringing out. Then that just has to do with your fretting hand. And the way to fix that is just make sure you're not having your hand at too much of an angle when you're playing. So a lot of guys with longer fingers, they often come at the fretboard like this. My fingers aren't long though, so that's not really a problem for me. And this angle tends to be fine and there's nothing wrong with it. But if you are getting a lot of the higher strings ringing out while you're shredding, then all you have to do is just try to angle your hand from that and just flatten it a bit. Because once you flatten it, your fingers will naturally mute the strings underneath. So I'm fretting the D string, but if I try play the G, the B, or the E, they're already muted. So just a quick recap, the main thing you're going to focus on is how you're holding your pick and how much of your thumb is sticking out. We want to choke up on the pick, only let a little bit of it stick out so that our hand is close to the strings and our thumb can mute the string on top of whatever we're playing. Let the palm naturally follow along when we're picking downwards. And then with our fretting hand, just make sure our fingers are not at too big an angle. Oh, and the last thing that I didn't mention is when we do flatten our hand when we're trying to fret down to shred, your fingers will sometimes drums automatically mute the string above anyway, which is a great little bonus. And that is it. Super basic and super simple, but that is all from me today. I really do hope you found this video helpful in some way or another. And if you did, please consider leaving a like or a comment. It really helps me out a lot. And obviously you can subscribe for more if you want as well. So yeah, thanks again guys for all your support. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.